How do you find the GCF of variables with exponents? Imagine you have to algebraic expressions and want to find what they have in common. This is where finding the greatest common factor of variables with exponents comes into play. It helps you simplify expressions and prepare for factoring. So how do you do it? Let's walk through the steps together. First, look at each term and identify the variables present in all of them. For example, if you see terms with x and y, note which ones appear everywhere. Next, compare the exponents of each common variable. For each variable that shows up in every term, find the smallest exponent among those terms. This smallest exponent is key because it tells you the highest power of that variable shared by all terms. Then, for each common variable, include it in the GCF raised to this smallest exponent. For example, if you have x cubed and x to the fifth power, the GCF for the variable x is x cubed, since 3 is the smaller exponent. When multiple variables are involved, like x cubed y squared and x to the fifth y to the fourth, do the same for each variable. The GCF for the variables becomes x cubed y squared because those are the smallest exponents for each variable across all terms. To find the complete GCF of the entire expression, you also need to find the GCF of the numerical coefficients. Prime factorization is the way to go here. Break down each coefficient into prime factors and identify the largest common factors. Once you have both the GCF of the coefficients and the variables, multiply them together. This gives you the full GCF of the expression. Remember, including only the variables that appear in all terms, and using the smallest exponents makes factoring easier. This process helps you break down complex polynomials into simpler parts, making algebra much easier to handle. So, whenever you are working with polynomials and factoring, keep in mind that finding the GCF of variables with exponents is all about spotting the common variables and using their smallest powers. It's a simple but powerful step in algebra that makes solving and simplifying much smoother.